Go.
What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Hogarth Hughes to my Iron Giant. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I always thought that Hogarth was a pretty terrible name.
It was, and that's like one of the parts that's really funny when Shooter McGavin's character is like, Hogarth? Who names their kid Hogarth? It's like, might as well just name it Zeppo or something. Then he looks at the guy, he's like, Hog, and then he runs back in. Love that movie.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be doing things a little bit different this week because we just have to record at an irregular time for us, but we're still going to make it the same old entertaining Two Worlds podcast that you know and love. And that starts with the news. So Casey, I think I've got a few more than you, so I will go first.
Yeah, and with us doing, like, since we're doing it earlier, if anything major comes out, if they're like, Henry Cavill's gonna play Wolverine, you know, like something like that. When I'm editing, I'll just add that in and that type of stuff. But yeah. I don't think anything major is gonna come up. So I think we're good.
I hope that you jinx it because I want something big to talk about. But anyway, starting off, Russell Crowe is joining the Kraven the Hunter cast in an unknown role. People think that it's just going to be like a family member of Kraven. I don't really have any thoughts on that, but we always report on the movies, so I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, I saw this. He's got to be Daddy Kraven, you know. And I'll be honest, he's a much better choice just to play Kraven than who we got. So,
yeah, I love Russell Crowe, so I wish it were a bigger role, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah, I wonder if that movie's going to introduce Chameleon too.
Good.
Yeah,
the possibilities are endless with this whole spider universe.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll run into this one. This is a kind of odd. So Donald Faison's been cast as in a mysterious role. Many are assuming to be Booster Gold because they're like with a golden opportunity. Like they're like kind of like, you know, putting these little things in there, like, oh, this is what he's gonna do. And I don't know. I'm kind of like, it doesn't really make sense with their own continuity in the Legends of Tomorrow CW stuff, because that's where he's going to show up in it, with Rip Hunter already showing up as a white dude and Donald Faison's not. So that doesn't really work. But I mean, I think he could be good. He's going to be better suited for that than he would be for a jerk Professor Utonium. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, I don't like that casting at all.
Yeah,
but whatever.
The way it sounds too, though, it's like, it's weird because this sounds like an older Booster, which I don't like. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. We are not the target audience because we don't watch that show.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean, I did. I watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So Hulu ordered a 20-episode revival series for Futurama. Everyone is set to return, and as of me typing that a couple days ago, DiMaggio was not on that list of people returning. So I don't know if that's changed in the last couple days, but
it hasn't.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were like, you can't do it without him, and I get that, but who knows?
Now, I know you're not a big Futurama fan, right?
I've seen it, but I haven't seen like the whole thing.
Yeah, like, so the last episode is a pretty darn good finish for that. It's not like when it first ended and like it just ended, you know, like they didn't have this one, like they had a very nice ending where, you know, basically all of time stops and Fry and Leela are just like, they're the only two that are still there. So like all of time stop and they just they get to grow old together. And then it ends with Professor, what's his name? I'm like on it. Hubert Farnsworth. You know, he like, oh, I fixed it, blah, blah. And it's like, but basically everything's going to go back to normal. Like you guys won't be old anymore and all this stuff. And so then they're like, well, I do it all over again with you. And they hold hands and they go through the portal. It's like, that's a good ending. Just leave it at that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this. It's clear that Disney owns the rights, and that's why it's going on Hulu, and they're just trying to milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I hope that for hardcore fans that it's good.
yeah. Someone said online, or someone made like a comic strip online about the whole Bender situation, and it was pretty funny because then they're like, it was like budget cuts, and it was all about, like they just did this like very much in the voice of the characters of how like they weren't going to bring back Bender, but they're going to bring back a robot that looks exactly like him but sounds exactly different. And then like all this different stuff. It was pretty comical.
Yeah, I could see that happening too.
Yeah,
But anyway, so Casey, did you watch any of the Nintendo Direct that went down on Wednesday?
I did not.
Okay, well, there were some pretty big announcements, and I just wanted to go through them real quick, just a few of them, not the whole thing, and see if any of them sound cool to you. So some of the major ones, they announced Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Now, that's not a series that I've ever played, but I've always wanted to check it out. I hear it's a really good RPG, but I'm pretty active on like the video game side of Reddit, and people were going crazy for that. So I hope that's good. Have you ever played those games?
I haven't. That's one of those things where I'm pretty sure they were in, like, one of the characters from it was in Super Smash, and I was like,
It was Shulk.
like, yeah, I was like, they look cool. I don't know what the heck they're from, but
Yeah,
that's all my knowledge.
right. Well, speaking of games I've never played, they also announced Splatoon 3. Now, I know that that franchise is huge.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that that is also a pretty big deal to people. But have you played Splatoon?
I haven't. Sound like some of those rumors that we talked about a couple weeks ago coming true.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. This one I was excited for, a Wii Sports sequel that's just called Nintendo Switch Sports.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna. I mean, oh yeah, the little guys are still motion. Yeah, so okay. At first, I was like, I wonder how that's gonna work, but I got it now.
Yeah. One time I couldn't remember that they were called whatever they're called, and I called them the Switch Wiimote. And now that's just what Brazil
Yeah.
and I call them. But yeah, it looks like the sports are going to be volleyball, badminton, bowling, soccer, fencing, or some kind of sword play, and tennis. So
A lot of those sound like more broken TVs.
yeah, but man, I loved me some Wii bowling. So the fact that
Yeah.
that's back is pretty cool. I will
You,
definitely be getting that one.
you get Wii bowling, and then like between bowling, volleyball spikes, and even badminton, you're gonna have some people breaking TVs this time around again.
Hey, the strap is there for a reason.
They had to make their straps a little bit stronger for the American arms, though, if I remember right.
We get into it. This one I've never played, but am very excited for. Mario Strikers, a new Mario Strikers. This one's called Battle League. I love all the Mario sports games, but I never played this one, even though it's supposed to be one of the better ones. So
It was really good.
yeah, I believe it. But this looks cool. They're introducing some, well, it's called Battle League, so some battle elements to it. But yeah, and then they're doing. I mean, we knew that a reboot for Advance Wars was coming out, but it looked amazing graphically, so
Yeah.
that I'm excited for that, and I like those types of games. Um, then we got the new trailer or a new trailer for Kirby in the Forgotten Land, where they used the worst name in history for the new mode. Kirby has a new mode called Mouthful Mode.
Nice.
Yeah, but I will say this, the game looks absolutely gorgeous, and that's one I can't wait to play because I love Kirby. One that I wasn't really expecting, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting DLC that is going to add 48 new courses for Mario
Wow.
Kart 8.
Is it going to be like, did they say if it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is just old ones from the other games, or if it's all new stuff?
I'm sure that it's stuff from past games.
Yeah. It'd be cool if they just took F-Zero courses too.
Right, I know. Those are going to be coming out in like, I think it's uh 6 batches of 8 courses. So I wonder,
Okay.
like, if you pay for it, I don't know, are they going to do like waves or where you just pay for the whole thing? Because I could see them doing either one, like they
I think
have with
it's,
like Smash
yeah,
Brothers.
that's how Smash does. So I bet it's like you could pay for the pass, or you could just pay one at a time, but you'd save money paying for the pass type of thing.
Right. But yeah, while I'd rather a new Mario Kart come out instead of them just rehashing 8 and old maps, I do really like some of those old maps that they're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
should be cool. And then finally, we're getting a new Fire Emblem game. It's called Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I'm disappointed. I like the first Fire Emblem Warriors, but I'm not like in love with the Warriors games.
Yeah,
So,
that's basically Dynasty Warriors or Fire Emblem, right?
yep.
Okay.
So it's just this one is set in the world of Three Houses, which was an incredible game that I played many times through. So it'll be neat to, I guess, button mash around big maps with some of your favorite characters from that game. I just hope that this is like a placeholder for an actual new game coming out.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that there's only 3 houses there. You'd think, they could make a killing adding one or two more. They make a
I
lot of money.
know. I know.
It's like one guy just has to come in, cut down a couple trees, put up a new house. Like, hey, this is 500 gold, and they're like, oh, I can afford that. I don't have to be living with all of these other people now.
Wow, you really showed that you have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to that game.
I mean, is all I know is Roy is in some of them and Marth is in others.
Okay, we'll just
And
leave it at
and
that.
and then there's an Ike also.
There is an Ike.
And then there's like that one person that showed up that I never played as in the newest Smash Brothers. Because there was the fourth Fire Emblem, right?
I mean, there's more than that. You're probably
Oh, okay.
talking about Robin,
Yeah.
but they've added more since then
Oh,
too.
okay.
But anyway, I'm still going to pick it up, of course, because I like to support that franchise. But yeah, that those were the big announcements.
I think it'd be hilarious if you got like the next Fox game was Star Fox Warriors.
Man, are you kidding? Nintendo doing anything with Star Fox? That's a joke.
And then they're like, hey, this is working. We're gonna do a F-Zero Warriors.
No racing at
Yeah,
all.
it's just Falcon punches for everybody.
Yep.
All right, so I saw the promotional stuff, but you actually did put in the notes that you saw the article that gave off the team, but we are getting a new Thunderbolts comic. Yeah, like I said, I just saw this teaser picture, so fill me in on who's in it and if you know the creative team.
Well, sure. The writer is Jim Zub, and the
Ooh.
art is Sean Izaksi. I'm sure I butchered that. But anyway, that is spinning out of Devil's Reign in May. Now, here's the part that confused me because Jim Zub said that this new comic is, and I quote, Ted Lasso by the way of Avengers. I have no idea what that means. Zero clue what that means.
So, I mean, I've not seen Ted Lasso. I know it's like this. I think it's like he's like a coach or something for football. Goes to Europe and he's coaching. He's like a really good dude. And there's like I guess not good people around him at times. That's how it sounds. It's supposed to be awesome, but which I'll probably watch it whenever I get the Apple TV for Godzilla. I'll probably end up watching that too because I hear it's amazing. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, and somebody else had told me that it deals a lot with like mental health issues.
oh
So
wow,
I don't know. But I think I'm fairly certain that Jim Zub wrote the last Thunderbolts book that came out a few years ago. that didn't do so hot. But anyway,
That one, I remember that one. It, like, for me personally, it was the art that
yeah,
really
it was
stifled that
terrible.
one.
It
Yeah.
was terrible. But anyway, Hawkeye is leading the team, and then the other members are Spectrum, America Chavez, Power Man, not Luke Cage, the other one, I think.
Oh, cool.
And Persuasion, as well as a couple others that I did not recognize. So anyway,
I'm
it's
pretty cold on that team, not gonna lie.
oh, same. Yeah, I have no desire to read it at all, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna sell well either. But
To me, the Thunderbolts need to be a villain team led by a hero. And I was hoping it would be like that, from like it'd be like a similar team as what we get in Devil's Reign, like them kind of going, oh crap, what we were doing was wrong. You know, it's like Shriek, I don't think could be there because I think she's straight up evil. But like I could see Rhino being in that role and Tasky being in that role, and some of the other one, and you know, for sure US Agent could be the guy leading the group. But this team, with it being like all heroes, it doesn't really work.
right, agreed. I think they're just like, oh, America and Spectrum are like in the shows, so we got to do something with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's that. Before I get into my comic stuff, I already know that you saw this because we talked about it on Twitter, but the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit gaming and film rights are up for sale. And I saw that, to no one's surprise really, that Amazon is the front runner to purchase that. So
Yep. So basically, we are starting a Patreon, and we need to get the rights so then we can, like, you know, be making some of that Lord of the Rings money. So the
we
tiers
only
are
like a couple billion, I think.
yeah, no,
will
like
get
our
us there.
tiers will be like, you know, let's just say 500 million, and you get like an extra podcast a week. You get our phone numbers. You can call us at any time.
We'll make you
So
a t-shirt.
yeah, you'll get one t-shirt a year if you've been, you know, a patron for 5 months. And you know, I'll send you pictures of my dogs.
So there you go. Couple
Yeah.
$1 billion or million.
Yeah,
And
no, it's
you call
just
that.
500 million. So tell your friends we get this ball rolling, then, you know, you'll get some Lord of the Rings starring me and Jake.
Yeah. And maybe one of you can just be an extra in the background.
Well, no, that's if you're at the 3 billion tier.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
See, we've got it all worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting stuff there. I'll do one more. And let's see, we've got in May, we're getting the 4th milestone comic series, which is Blood Syndicate, which I was excited for until I read the creative team. But we got the writer as Jeffrey Thorne, and then Chris Cross and Juan Castro on the art. I'm still going to give it a shot. Obviously, you guys know I read all these milestone books, so maybe Jeffrey Thorne will do a better job writing on that than he did Green Lantern. Or maybe we'll just get a Teen Lantern crossover with Blood Syndicate.
What is Blood Syndicate? Because I don't know that one off the top of my head.
So this is one I didn't read from back in the day. I thought it was like a villain team, but from the looks of the promo stuff, like Static was there as well as like a couple others. So I don't know. Maybe it's not a villain team.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this. I have faith that it might be good. His Green Lantern suffered because he's trying to do too much, I think. So I think maybe with this, he's going to try to make it a little bit, you know, more controlled and not trying to have like 5 stories at the same time. And
I hear you, but it's a team book. So if he can't handle the Lantern Corps,
it is, you're right there, but it's also, they're not going to be in outer space. For some reason, he had the dumb idea of, you know, having, you know, John in his other world, then had Joe here, and then having them all deal with all this other stuff. Hopefully this will all be them together, and they're dealing with stuff together, and that could make it good. I mean, I'm just saying I'm hopeful for him because, you know, I don't have any reason to be like, oh, I want this guy to fail.
Well, I don't want it to fail either.
Yeah.
I just want it to be good.
Yeah, that's what, and I'm saying, I'm just trying to give some hope, because there's been times with the Green Lantern book where it was actually enjoyable, but it was just, as a whole, it just never hit for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so DC gave us a nice look at, the Batman, Black Adam. It didn't really give us much info. It just kind of gave us looks at their costumes more than anything. We got, new look at Flash, Aquaman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, just all of the characters basically. The costumes look pretty good. After looking at it a few times, we got Hawkman. After looking at it a few times, Dr. Fate kind of bothers me. And I'll tell you why, because he doesn't have eye holes.
He doesn't?
No, everything else is awesome. Like, it would be like the New 52 Earth 2 style where it's, the black and gold, but his helmet doesn't have the white spots. It's just kind of like it's dented in, but he can't see anything, which I don't think it matters, because I'm assuming Naboo is in control at that point. And since you're just a, talking helmet, you don't really need to see. It can, it's magic. But so yeah, that was just like, look wise, it kind of annoyed me. What do you think of them though? And I didn't like Flash's either. It looks even more like a speed skater than, like, in a little bit. We didn't see a lot, so it could actually look better. But I don't know. It looks very rubbery to me, and like I said, it looks like a speed skater, which is how he runs. So
right. No, I thought all of them looked cool. I thought Fate looked cool. I mean, if you look at a still, you can see the eye holes. They're just like, they've got like a gold glow to it instead of white. So it kind of just blends in with the rest of it. But man, Hawkman looks so cool. Like,
yeah,
holy crap.
how do you feel about his wings kind of coming out instead of them, not being there always? So it looks like we're getting the more Carter Hall wing situation where they come off and on.
It's fine. I mean, that's more practical, and also they've done that in the comics before. So I'm fine with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited for all that. It's cool to think, like all of those are out this year, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so cool stuff. All right, and then my final bit, Joshua Williamson is writing Dark Crisis this year with Daniel Sampier on art, and that is going to kick off with a free comic book day issue before it goes into all of that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you excited about that?
Not really, but I heard a rumor that that like a lot of B and C characters could be getting like miniseries or just highlights either in this or after this. And if that's the case, then it does excite me, but we'll see what happens.
I'm not too interested. It's just like, I mean, especially after reading Justice League Infinite, for all the, I'll talk about that when we talk about comics, like all of that, it's really kind of just hurt my excitement for it. But I found the Joshua Williamson tweet about it. He goes, when the Justice League is dead, the heroes left behind must come together to stop a great evil and find the lost heroes. Following Justice League 75 in April, we have 2 special issues that set the stage for Dark Crisis Zero on Free Comic Book Day, and then Justice League Road to Dark Crisis both come out in May. It just sounds like DC going, ching, trying to make that money and milk this for all it's worth. I'm not overly interested personally.
But if it truly is the next Crisis event, we're gonna have to read it for this show.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see what happens. I want to believe that Williamson will make it good, but man, I could not get through Justice League Incarnate.
Yeah, I think you were right. Yeah, I have it right here, so I'll find it really quick. Yeah, Incarnate. Infinite's the other one. That's
right.
An one that comes out the same time.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for the news. Now we're going to take our ad break, and we'll be back to talk some comics. So we'll be right back. Oh man, what is the topic?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't done anything besides like look at Twitter for basketball trades this whole week, being like, oh, what's going on? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. I saw it like as we started this, but apparently the Super Bowl commercial for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 got released early. So after we're done here, I'm gonna have to check that out.
And just watch it now and then like break it down as we're talking because we don't have anything going on.
Do an in-depth
Yeah.
analysis.
Not even, it doesn't have to be in depth, but you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, and then I'll be like, oh, this is happening. Oh, Knuckles is just punching a pregnant woman. That's crazy.
That would be crazy. But I don't think me watching a video for a couple minutes and then saying something after is too entertaining visually.
Fair enough. I mean, in all fairness, I don't think just us sitting back, side by side is the most entertaining visually thing we got going. But
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't know.
maybe we should.
We're handsome.
We are.
The charm has to be there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if we started having like crazy hat times, so every time we're wearing different hats. Ooh, that's what I was wanting to do. I forgot. I got a new hat and I was gonna wear it today because you normally wear a hat and I was gonna wear mine because it fits the old noggin.
You found one to fit, huh?
I know, it's a dad hat. The main problem with it though is like it's one of those ones where it's like made to like be thicker up here. So I don't know who those are for. Like it's like, is this someone that's just lots of hair that they can just put this on then? Because like when I put it on, I have a lot of pop down room that I can just push it on. I don't get it.
Is it like mesh?
No, it's just a regular old Pacers hat.
Huh. I don't know. I've been getting into the whole the baseball cap style more as time goes on. They're just I don't know. It's like I liked the snapback style there for a long time, but every other person I see wear one, I'm like, they look kind of douchey. I bet I also look douchey, so I'm gonna go with the baseball cap style.
I like snapbacks mostly because I think like the designs are always the coolest on them.
Mhm.
But I hate them because my old head, my watermelon is just too big for them, and I have to put it on like the number one. And so like if you ever do that, they're always like, it's always like this. And then they'll pop off. So I'll just have it like nothing going on it. And it's just terrible.
And also that style of hat like looks so big anyways. It should be big enough to fit bigger heads.
Yeah.
But
the
whatever.
Worst, what makes you feel really bad is when you go to lids and they only have the fitted hats. And then you're like, I need the biggest one you got. And then they're like, okay, here's a 7 3/4. And you put it on, like, it hurts. And then you have to take it off and you just have to leave very sad.
Yeah, I don't like fitted hats at all. Don't like them.
No, because if your hair grows out, then it's not comfortable to wear anymore.
Right. And also if you're like, I guess you should just know your size, but if you're ordering online, you have no idea if that's gonna fit.
No. They should do you can print off a paper so you can put your head on and be like, this works.
Man, I wonder how hat stores in general do like lids or whatever at the mall. Like, do they really sell enough hats to like warrant the rent at a mall?
I mean, they must, like, because in Evansville, there's lids, and then there's also this sports store by lids. It's like one of those type of things. And so, and like their stuff is super expensive. So I don't know why no one just doesn't buy stuff online. I really don't get that at all, because it's like their hats will be like $30, and then like their jerseys will be up about $40 because like they had it was like the All-Star when they were in San Antonio, and it's like the blue ones, and they had a Scottie Pippen one, and I was like, oh man, I want that, but it was $200 and you can get it on Fanatics for like $130.
Yeah, everyone's gonna take $70 off for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love me some hat talk. I've got a lot of hats.
I know you do.
Hats. All right. Welcome back, folks. If you want to hear Casey and I talk about some hats and just what we think about hats in general.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. Head over to YouTube and check it out. It's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. But anyway, now is time for some comic talk. Because we're recording this when we are, Casey doesn't have his books yet, and I only read a few of this week's new books. So It's going to be a little bit different, but we'll make it through as we always do. But Casey, what books did you read?
So this would have been 2 weeks ago, I think. But I read Noctera number 7, Newburn number 3, The Flash 778, The Amazing Spider-Man 88, Fantastic Four Life Story number 6, Monkey Prince number 1, Shang-Chi number 8, She-Hulk number 1, Batman 120, The Thing number 4, Justice League Incarnate 4 of 5, One Star Squadron 3 of 6, Daredevil number 2, and finally got to read Saga. So that's all I've read. What are the 3 you have read?
I read Hellboy and the BPRD 1957, Forgotten Lives one shot, Moon Knight number 8, and Batgirls number 3.
Nice. So then I'm just gonna really quick say my pile, which ones are like really good you should be reading, which ones you shouldn't, that type of stuff. So Noctera by Scott Snyder and Tony Estaniel. I'm gonna be honest, it's starting to lose me. I'm just losing interest in this book. I don't know. It's just this one I very much skimmed. If someone's reading this and they still really love it, I'd love to hear their like why and what everything. I'm not feeling it really anymore. Newburn number 3 by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips. This one was really good. I would highly recommend this book if you're a fan of just crime type books. This one was, like I said, really, really cool. Probably the best issue yet. I really liked it. And The Flash 778, and this is by Jeremy Adams, and I don't have the artist names on hand, but it was good. I liked it okay. I didn't like how they kind of jobbed out Mammoth. I thought that was a bit much. I'm like, and the little bits I've read of Jay, his son, would never be able to do that. So like that was kind of a letdown. But other than that, I enjoyed the Flash stuff, just not the kid stuff. The Amazing Spider-Man 88 with All Hail the Goblin Queen. It was actually really, really good. You get some, stuff going on with Ben Reilly. Like he's acting weird because they kind of mess with his memory. And this time while the Goblin Queen's attacking, he just saves his girl, and MJ's there too being attacked. And he's just like, okay, see ya. And he just takes off. And then they're like, well, what are you doing? He's like, it's not my problem. He just took off. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen next. It was pretty cool. I really, really liked it. Fantastic Four, Life Story number 6. Boy, this series was depressing. So Reed's still in a vegetative state. Can't do much. Dr. Doom's destroying stuff. They fight. The old people come in and help out, and they save the day. Reed's still a vegetable. Human Torch is still dead, and it's over. I mean, boy, it's not what I expected, but whatever. Monkey Prince number 1, and this is by Yang. I actually liked it more than Jake. For me, it'd be like he gave like a 4. I'd probably give it about a 7. I thought the way his characters were written were pretty good. I didn't really care much for the school setting, and I thought it was very lucky that Damien was there, and also that his parents are super villains and all that type of stuff. Like it was just kind of a very good happenstance that it happened. But other than that, I really, really liked it. I thought it was a good time, and I'm interested to see how it goes from there.
I'm surprised, genuinely surprised.
Yeah,
it's just a puddle on the ground. Back to that night. It's what? Every time you've ever seen a puddle?
It didn't really annoy me. That didn't really bother me too much. I mean, it's just you hear stories about people dealing with their, these stressors, and that happened at such a young age with Batman beating up his family in front of him. I get why, that could be haunting you in a different way. It, like I said, didn't really bother me. Shang-Chi by Yang and Dai Ran, and I like this one a lot. We get to see Shang's granddaddy from his mama's side over, and he's kind of a jerk, and it's a good time. I would say you should be reading Shang. It's just a good time. She-Hulk number 1. Boy, I love this book. I'm so glad that she's back to being awesome. And I mean, not really awesome. She's very much down on her luck. It's She-Hulk Spider-Man type of stuff where she's just stuff's not going right for her. But it's great. It's written really funny. It's good. I love it. And, I think that might be the reason why I like strong green women. It's just because I've always loved She-Hulk. But Batman 120, it was interesting. The end had me kind of surprised. I didn't expect Abyss being like teaming up with Batman Inc. and all this stuff. I thought that was really cool. I'm excited to.
How about that final page though, with all of them standing there? That was the page that I was saying looked like so good.
Looks amazing. The art in that is like some of the most top tier art we've gotten in a long time. The story's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm here for the ride. I'm very into it. The Thing number 4. So I really loved this issue. I thought it was very, very good. There's parts of it that I was like not sold on, but like it's clear that the kid is like has to be cosmic in some sort. He has to be, because he knew who Watu was. You know, the champion or whatever was like, oh hey, even you're kind, you know, and that type of thing. That's something that you would say to probably, I'm really thinking he might be like a baby watcher, basically. That's my gut. So, and then his love interest, she's clearly got some love power or something, because even Silver Surfer had a little heart and he's feeling something. So it's really interesting. I'm very hooked. I'm like, the last issue wasn't my favorite. This one, it's like an 8 or a 9 for me. I really liked it. I liked it a little bit more than Jake did. Justice League Incarnate, whew, it was a rough read. This was a rough one. I'd say skip it. Like, honestly, the only reason to read this is to kind of get ready for the big event that's coming up, because it's like all kind of, it's supposed to be all kind of connected, but for me it's just not really good. I like by this issue I was just like, I don't care. Like, I really don't. So yeah, like I'm gonna read the next one just because 5 issues of a 6-issue series, like I'm good at the 5th one, you know, like, that would be stupid. So I'm gonna read it, but oh, it was rough. Because it's one of those things too where it's like very Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, you know how we've always thought that the most powerful guy was this guy. Well, turns out there's something even more powerful and evil, and it's just like whatever. Then One Star Squadron 3 of 6. Loved it. It was just such a good time. The Mark Russell does such a great job with this type of thing versus the Fantastic Four one. It's just funny. It had lots of really good, you know, dialogue and everything. I just really liked it. And then Daredevil Woman Without Fear. Got some cool fights, cool stuff. And then, you know, it's just great. Like I really liked it. You should be reading that. And then last but not least, Saga. The only downside to Saga is that it took 3 years to come out. There was stuff that I forgot that it had happened, but other than that, it's really good. But that's all I read.
Okay. Was Saga a 10 for you?
I'd be like a 9.5. Mostly because of the fact that there's stuff that I just forgot, and there wasn't like a, hey, here's everything you missed. But there's one thing I want to mention, because this is something that I think is funny. I'm going to compare it to She-Hulk, probably. Does it have the price on it? Yeah. So this book, Saga, it's $2.99. Look at the it's a thick book. And there's no ads in it. She-Hulk, $1 more. Look at that. Like,
hey,
that's
what you get for being under the mouse.
Yeah, I mean that's same with DC too, though. And then I mean, you're getting ads in that too. So it's like the ad, like it's like, man, could you give us a little bit more for that price? Come on.
Agreed. All right, first one I'll talk about is Hellboy. It's written by Mike Mignola and Chris Robertson, with art by Stephen Green. And I didn't really care for this too much. Hellboy and this professor are called to a cemetery where like a ghost is scaring people away. And they go to an auction to see like some belongings, like figure out who it is and how they can put him to rest. And it turns out that one of the ghost was just a writer, and Hellboy had read some of his books when he was a kid. So uh, they give up on trying to find out who the ghost is and they leave. And Hellboy's like, I think I'll dig through my stuff and try to find some of those books. And then it ends with the ghost just saying, like, thank you, I don't want to be forgotten. And that's the end. So I don't really know why this needed to be made at all, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But whatever.
At least with you describing it, it sounded kind of neat. Like at least, I mean, like that's a cool way for the ghost story to end. You know, like it could have been worse. It could have been just like that's something that I've not seen
agree.
before, basically.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, I don't know, like just give us a little more to it. I mean, the main characters literally just gave up and like nothing got solved that we know, but it's like, okay. So yeah, that I'm probably gonna give it a 2. It was just like a total waste of time.
How was the art? Not very good.
I mean, average Hellboy stuff. It's not Mignola, but it's somebody that's trying to be like it a little bit, so it was fine.
Okay, I'm gonna close my door really quick. I'll be right back.
All right. So next, I'm going to talk about Moon Knight, number 8. And this is written by Jed McKay, and the art is done by Alessandro Capuccio. And this one was pretty awesome. This was all about, well, so it takes place during Devil's Reign. It's technically a Devil's Reign tie-in. But essentially, Dr. Bader or Bader, I don't really know how it's pronounced. We'll just say Bader, is at the Midnight Mission, taking over for Moon Knight while Moon Knight is, in jail or whatever. And essentially, this is like one of the coolest filler issues we could have gotten. People are putting this sign up all over New York for Stained Glass Scarlet is her name. She was just a chick that killed people with a crossbow, and she wore a scarlet outfit. And while she was a criminal, after she was put away, or I guess she actually died, people sort of made like a myth out of her. And since there's like gods and stuff in this universe, that myth kind of became real, and she came back as like a minor deity, which is pretty neato in my opinion. So Bader goes and fights Stained Glass Scarlet, who looks pretty cool as well. Art's really good.
That is neat.
Yeah. And you think all is lost, but then Bader, spoiler alert, calls in Khonshu to help. And they kind of duke it out, and Khonshu puts her away because he's a stronger deity than that. And yeah, then at the end, where are they? They're at Ravencroft. There's a 1-page epilogue, and they're just like, what do you mean he's not in his cell? And then they raise an alarm, and that's how it ends. And I don't know, let's see, Winter Rutherford, does that name mean anything to you?
I mean, the last name does, but I can't place it. I'm gonna Google it for really quick. How do you spell it?
I'm doing it as well.
Okay.
A former Hydra assassin turned mercenary for hire. So I guess he was in one of the Daughters of the Dragon series.
Oh, okay.
It says he appears in 3 issues, like total. So I don't know. I guess he might just be another throwaway for Bader to fight or whatever. But but man, just the art in this book is so cool. It was freaking incredible. Can you see that?
Oh wow, that is neat. Now I have a question: is Khonshu like a beloved god? Hey, Mayor. It's Khonshu because, like, I mean, I remember in Hercules where, like, if people were believing whatever god it is, they'd get more power. Basically, you want to be on the podcast, buddy? Nope. Okay.
Nope. She got away real quick.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, don't show me on the TV."
No, that's not really like that. I mean, that's how they say that Scarlet came about.
That's
But
what I was
then,
thinking. Yeah.
when it comes to Khonshu, I mean, he even mentions like the Avengers put him away in whatever universe. But I guess he has enough power being a
Yeah.
fist of Khonshu to summon him in some way.
I got you.
Um, you know, even if it doesn't make too much sense, it looked awesome. It was a
Yeah.
cool fight. And you know, I liked it a lot. I thought this was a great book. I will give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, because that's one of those things I could see actually popping up in this series too, even though I'm not reading it. So maybe not, but like they could easily work into how Khonshu is being worshipped now and that type of stuff, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Since
they might.
since Moon Knight is getting more popular in his area, that type of thing. I wouldn't be
Right,
surprised.
for sure. And then finally, we got Batgirls #3. It's written by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, with Jorge Corona on the art. And then we've got Sarah Stern and Ivan Placencia on the colors. So yeah, the girls have a little throwdown with the tutor. And basically everybody's drawn to like this big art thing. And I don't want to spoil it because I know Casey is also reading it. But you know, maybe people were all gathered there for a certain reason. And the Batgirls have to step in. We get a little more with the Saints as well, who is that new group of villains that, you know, idolize Simon Saint. And then at the end, Barbara thought everything was secured away from Seer, but turns out maybe that's not the case. So yeah, this was cool. There's some good wholesome moments. The fights were fun. uh you know, Cassie is still dealing with the side effects of that stuff that Tutor's using. So there's a lot going on, but there's a good balance between all of it. And it's just so hard not to love the characters. I mean, Barbara
Yeah.
Cassie and Stephanie are all so awesome. So I might have said Cassie was affected, but I meant Stephanie.
Yeah.
But anyway, good stuff. I'm gonna give it a 9, and that is without my bias. It's just a good book. So
Right on, man.
all right, now it's on to what we're excited for next week.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna go with Amazing Spider-Man because, like I said, that last issue was really, really cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. Crimson Cage and Primordial. Those are, you know, like it's a kind of a lighter week, but should be pretty cool.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go with Batman the Knight #2, Hellboy Bones of Giants #4, and Iron Fist #1.
Nice.
Now, Casey, before we get into the Fantastic Four, we got a response last week. We asked for people to share, you know, how long they've been listening to us and all that stuff. And friend of the pod, Dan, who I talk about often, responded, and I'm just going to read his message here. He said, I tell Jake all the time, but figured saying so here would get it to Casey's ears as well. I love this podcast. I listen every week, usually on the day it drops, and have since about episode 44. I think you guys are funny and insightful, and I agree with your opinions most of the time, except for when you said that Kang the Conqueror is not that great. I know Dan is a huge Kang fan, but anyway, thank
Tell
you
us where
very
to jump
much.
in on Kang. I mean, that's, you know, like tell us like a good like jump because like I've read a little bit. I've never been like, oh boy, you're a Kang. So like give us some like actual good preference on Kang then, because I mean I'm all about it. I'm all about being wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks Dan for sharing. We appreciate the kind words and for gassing us up. So thanks for coming back every week for
Yeah, thanks,
about
Dan.
60 episodes. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, now we can get into the Fantastic Four, and we'll switch it up a little bit this week. I'm gonna let Casey shine here with his adorable creative brain. But Casey, this week was the NBA trade deadline, which we chatted about a whole bunch over text message this week. We love this time of year. You never know what moves are going to be made. And that got you thinking about some comic book related trades that you think would be interesting. So lay 4 good comic book themed trades on the listeners.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with like a light, like an easy one. It'd be Marvel and DC would do a trade. DC's gonna be cashing in on basically Vigilante at like his peak, because like as soon as Peacemaker's over, it's gonna be done. No one's gonna care about him again. So they're gonna ship off Peacemaker or Vigilante to Marvel, and they're gonna get Night Thrasher and Hercules. So they're getting like 2 B and C characters, but like 2 that they could really up, because like Night Thrasher would go great into like Batman books and that type of stuff. Like he'd be like so cool in that universe going against those type of characters. And Hercules, he could really go in well with Wonder Woman, any of the Amazons, that type of stuff, or even on team books as like the tank. Basically, I think that would work really well. And then next would be on Marvel Boom and IDW 3-way trade. So Marvel would send off the rights to do a Predator, an Alien, and a Conan to Boom, along with Punisher to Boom. And in return, they get Power Rangers. And then they send off Alpha Flight and Sentry to IDW, and they get Godzilla. So then now they can do a Godzilla, Ultraman, Power Rangers 3-way universe book.
That would be fun. And I like that you chose companies that those others would succeed in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, like Punisher's the only one. I was like, Punisher, I don't know, but I was like, I wanted to do a trade with Punisher in it. I was like, this is gonna be it. Okay, so then this is like the very convoluted one, and then I'm gonna get to the last one, which is like the bombshell one. So this one, DC is wanting Spawn. So they call up Image and they send off Hawk and Dove to Image to get Spawn, and then they send off Swamp Thing to Marvel, Plastic Man and Space Cabbie also to Marvel. And then they go to IDW and they send Conquerilla and Detective Chimp. And Marvel gives them Man Thing. IDW gives Marvel Rom. And then Marvel sends off Howard the Duck and Venom to Image. But now like they only get Venom. They don't get Knoll. They don't get Carnage. They don't get all of those other ones. They get Venom, Eddie Brock, and that's it. And then and Marvel also gives DC's Man Thing. Did I say that?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot happening in that one.
Yeah. So basically, Image ends up with Howard the Duck, Venom, and Hawk and Dove. DC gets Spawn and Man Thing. Marvel gets Swamp Thing, Rom, Plastic Man, Space Cabbie. IDW gets Conquerilla and Detective Chimp. I think Detective Chimp would be perfect in the Sonic universe. That's why I kind of went with that. And Conquerilla, I don't know. IDW just seems to have like the furries on, like just like that's the furry group. So like it's perfect for them,
Yeah.
Okay, and then this one would be the bombshell. This would be like if LeBron James ever got traded, that type of thing. So we would have the whole Batman family from DC going to Marvel, along with Joker, but they don't get any of the other rogues. Those go to Marvel, the IP, because Disney's like, oh, Eternals didn't do good enough. So we need Batman to kind of make the MCU even more, money. And so then they send, though, Fantastic Four, the whole X-Men universe, the Inhumans, and the Shi'ar.
That is interesting.
That's what I was thinking, because I mean, it's like these are all ones that don't have movie universes, so Disney's not making like the billions of dollars per movie, but X-Men makes some good money on comics.
I don't know. That is so crazy. It's like DC wouldn't give up Batman, but if you think about everything you just listed, it's like, well, maybe they would.
That was the thought,
Yeah. Well, I like it. Which one do you think is the most likely of all your trades?
I mean, if it was like the most likely would probably be the Marvel DC Night Thrasher Hercules Vigilante one, because that's like so minuscule. But then like the Marvel Boom IDW one, I could see something happening if they were actually ever going to do this. That one is also kind of plausible. They have to probably not get Punisher, but
Right. All right. If you guys could swap any characters, let us know. If you're like, man, I'd love to see this character swap from Marvel to DC or whatever. Let's hear it.
It's like Weather Wizard for Storm, straight up.
Man, that is a price tag on Weather Wizard. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, if you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please go like and subscribe us on YouTube. That's 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And leave a comment about what your favorite hat you own is. If it's a fedora, you can unsubscribe now, I guess. But we'd love to stay in chat, but there's a missile coming our way, and I apparently have to stop it because Jake stays and I go. Bye, guys.
Bye.